Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are giving you guys, as always, the UK Taskforce on a Wednesday night, and we talk about Married at First Sight, Season 12. And today I am joined by a lovely co-host. Yes, unfortunately our other co-host couldn't make it, but that's never a problem. You know, we get to see the lovely Raquel on my screen as well, and get to have a really good deep conversation around Married at First Sight. Well, I mean, they actually called for this last time anyway. They said they wanted to see us two again, so look at that, you got your wish now, you know what I mean? But yes, I'll let you introduce yourself, let them know where they can find you, and then we'll get the conversation flowing about Married at First Sight.
Let's go. Thank you, Kojo. Yep, my name's Raquel. You can find me on Instagram and YouTube at RexReal, where I do lifestyle, natural hair, and just fun content. So please subscribe, hit the follow button. And yes, missing Sophie, but looking forward to getting into it.
I love that. So obviously season 12 has been explosive. It's been crazy. It's been up. It's been down. In fact, it's been up and it's stayed up, like Cardi said. And obviously, episode 12 was no different from that particular case. So I guess we'll start off strong. We had Chris and we had Paige. Now, we had Chris talking to his mother. We had Paige talking to her brother. And I think it was his brother's wife, actually, as well. And obviously, it was two different types of conversation that we're having. But the reactions from two different parties were, you know, unique to each individual person. What was your kind of thoughts around Paige's kind of conversation with her brother and the brother's wife?
I weren't surprised by what she had to say, and I weren't surprised by their reaction. I just feel like with Chris and Paige, we all know where it's going. It's like dead end, sad story, tragedy, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, I weren't too surprised about that. I was more surprised about him talking to his mum and his mum being so shocked. Like, I don't know why she was surprised. Unless he'd been keeping her in the dark all along, I'm just not sure why his mum was so surprised that he was looking to get a divorce.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, it was an interesting conversation with Chris's mum. I think I watched it a few times and I was just like, I don't know if she's trying to pretend as if she's like surprised, but it didn't feel like good acting. That's why I was probably a little bit like, what? And I guess, you know, I just felt like obviously maybe it wasn't the time, I don't know, but at what point are we going to address your son's mad behavior? At what point?
But that leads me to something, right? Mm-hmm. Generally, when men are acting up, we're surrounded by loved ones, male or female. Sometimes when men act up, they have women around them who enable them. Could be their mothers, could be their sisters who defend them and make excuses and don't pull them up. So maybe she's just his enabler, or she just turns a blind eye to all of his mad behavior.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously earlier in the season we got to see her addressing the situation when Paige came to speak to her and the dad at the time, and she was like, yeah, she defended him by saying about the drink. Was he drunk? And it was like, so yeah, I guess I don't know what was expecting with her having a one-to-one conversation with her son. Like, what do we expect? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And obviously, Paige obviously spoke to the brother. How did you find that particular conversation between Paige and her brother?
Why are you smiling? Which part of it? What are you referring to in particular, please?
Nothing. Just the whole conversation.
What part got you?
I think the why always me, why me kind of thing that she made a mention of towards that. I think that was like, I was like, Paige, yeah, like you have control. Sad. But why me is...
I felt sorry for her. But maybe now this will cause her to reflect and generally answer the question, why always me? Is she attracting these type of people for a reason? Is it really her fault? So do you think when this happens to women that they're to blame?
I think you've got to take some accountability, yeah. If this happens several times.
Always falling prey to the bad guy. What if there are just more good apples?
There may be, but you've got to be able to discern. At a point in time, you have to take accountability for your choices that you make. I think everyone can accept that maybe the first one, fool me, first time, shame on me, but fool me twice. Yeah, no, that's not how it goes. But fool me twice is when you say shame on me, because it's like at that point you should start being aware and being conscious about decisions you're making. But it's not just her, but obviously other people need to make her as well. But she's had people talk to her throughout the course of the season. So this is not even that you've been left to your devices and an abusive, manipulative partner has cornered you and squared you off. You've had sound counselors speaking to you for 33 days and beyond about how mad this situation is. Pastor Cow, all them have told you it's not of God. Well, I shouldn't say it's not of God. That it's not of it. Yeah.
In her defense, I don't agree with what she's done at all. But she's really been blindsided. And I think the fact that it's a marriage and where she marriage in her mind has led her to thug it out. Not say she weren't married, but she hasn't had a chance to date this guy herself. It's not like she's willingly ignored the red flags on her own. She's literally rocked up blind, married the guy, and then he's just opened his Pandora's box of madness. And she's just like, okay, should I be the dutiful wife? Should I pack my bags and go? So she's wrong for being involved for so long, but she didn't ask for this. She didn't.
No.
Skip through the process and landed there with all of his madness.
No, definitely. She didn't ask for it. And obviously she trusted the advice of the married counselors, which is not a problem. You trusted them to look at what's happening here. And this is I don't say oxymoron, it's a bit of a paradox in the sense of you trusted them to put you with somebody. Yeah. Why do you not trust them when they say that this is not the right person for you?
Because God put them together.
Exactly.
That's what she says.
So precisely, that's where accountability comes in, because you were happy to agree that you trusted them to put you with someone, and the same people who said they put him together said, this is not the one. So then why is it you couldn't trust when they said they couldn't put it together? It's because you now have the problem. It's not them. It's not them putting them to you together. It's what you and how your brain thinks and how your mind is operating. So there has to be a level of accountability on that regard, even though you gave the trust to the people. Go for it.
But how much does her faith play into this? Because we know she's talking about her belief system and God and who God put together, no man put us under, all that. That's how she's operating. So right now she's operating blindly in faith, literally walk by faith, not by sight, because she's ignoring all the red flags, the experts, as you said, but she's clinging on to the word. So can you fault her for that?
I can fault her for that.
And why?
I tell you why, because even the sheep that are taught incorrectly have to be able to read the word for themselves. Too many people rely on a shepherd to feed them when you yourself have a direct relationship with God himself. So when you plaster God on everything and you're saying you hear the Holy Spirit telling you, not your pastor, he told you are telling us that you have a level of maturity to be able to discern the voice of God to tell you to stick in something. And that's cool. We rock with that. Now, at the same time, also have the maturity to be able to say, actually, I got it wrong, which she has done now. She's saying, obviously, like, she's kind of seen that she's made a mistake. And that's why I'm saying that a level of accountability has to be taken by the individual to realize, why did I stay in this so long? You were in it because you were pushed into it, because that's how it works, the system. But you stayed in it for a particular reason, you know. So I see why. The why me, I can understand why she might have said why me, but that why me told me you haven't learned.
Maybe this is it, the turning point, and there'll be no more Chris types in her life.
Nope, I don't think so. I think there'll still be more Chris in her life. Rats, it's going to be still more Chris.
Particular or Chris types? You're saying Chris
types. Okay, Chris or Chris types. Chris and Chris types.
Oh, hopefully no more Chris. Please no more Chris. Please no more Chris. Hopefully no more Chris types as well, but please no more Chris.
It's going to be more Chris type. I mean, okay, for instance, if you have how many bad dudes before you have to look at yourself and say, actually, I have a level of accountability on myself to make correct choices?
Maybe.
But would you say, why me? Would you say, why me?
Well, what am I doing, rather? She'll get there. She's on a journey. You need to get her on. You need to talk to her.
There's nothing I can do unless she reaches out to me. Nothing
it's
I
above
can do.
Us now, huh?
It's above me now. You know what I'm saying? It's above me now. So yeah, I can't. Okay, cool. I know Chris and Paige, they've always been there, so it's normal. But obviously we had Haley and Jacob. So why that phrase, right? Where are face racks?
Well, I know if Sophie was here, she'd be gunning for her Haley.
I know.
So we're missing that element now because as you know, Sophie's like, yeah,
Too
Haley's so sweet, Haley's so innocent.
What was your thoughts towards Haley this week then?
I was surprised that they decided to do a reset because I thought
Mm,
they were beyond it. I thought they were ready to just sign the papers and be done and go their separate ways because he seemed totally over it.
mm,
But I also feel that they do need to be done because I just don't think they're compatible whatsoever. And that's okay.
mm.
Life goes on. When she gave that example about her trying to talk to him about her holiday, she was really trying to say, oh, I done this every day. I ate pad thai. I all her activities. And he was just like, we're going to deep clean tomorrow. Like, who does that? Like, for me, done. What more trying? I've tried to open up with you about my interests and you've been and started talking about cleaning. I'm sorry. I cannot fault Haley for just.
So you're saying that you can't fault Haley for going away?
No, it's just not. There's no compatibility. Don't force it.
So have you ever been have you ever like maybe dated someone or even started to see someone and you've
Yeah,
realized that their personality is not
yeah.
computing?
I have. I
What
have.
was
And you
what
should
was
walk
what
away.
was your
You can't
reaction?
force it. You can't force it. It was sad, isn't it? It was sad that this isn't gonna work. But I'm not gonna pretend and fool both of us. I can just see we're like chalk and cheese. There's just no getting along. It's just not gonna happen. We're not gonna gel. We're not gonna mix. There's no
Mm,
cohesion here. As much as you can will it and want it, if it's not gonna happen, it's just not gonna happen.
I hear that. Okay, give us an example of one thing. Like, what would you say if a man was like that would be incompatible for you for a girl personally?
Oh, what have I had? All right. So personally, I'm quite I can be quiet and have my downtime, but generally I'm quite outgoing. Like if
Mm,
there's a wedding or celebration, I like to enjoy myself. So if someone's got like an issue with that or they're very, 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 very quiet, then we might not be the best,
mm.
type in that regard. We might not be the best match. Well, what do you think? Have you had that? What's an example for you, Kojo?
What of incompatibility?
Yeah.
I think just what like just for me lack of depth of conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like
Shallow.
I need to have that. You know what I mean? I need to know that I can have a conversation with you, and we can not just do surface talks. Like no offense to
Yeah.
anybody there. I think I've said this before. Like I just need to know I need to be able to have that conversation where we're talking and it's there's a deeper depth to that kind of conversation. Do you know what I mean? I don't care what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like we may not know all the facts, but you have an opinion. You know, you share your thoughts. That is the most annoying thing when someone doesn't have thoughts on a thing. Like, what do you think? I don't really
Nothing. And
know.
that's what I had with that situation I'm referring to. It was something like that. We were just mismatched in terms of like depth and also in terms of like personality. So I was more outgoing or more energetic, and they were like very tired or like very, very, very reserved. I don't mind someone being reserved, but we were just like polar
Opposites
opposites. Plus, there was like the depth issue as well. So we just weren't meeting.
connecting.
No, yeah. So no, it
Yeah.
happens. It happens.
It does, but obviously, okay. Does it need to? If it's a marriage, is it different then? Because obviously they're married. They're not dating. Like we're dating, we can leave. But is it
Okay.
different in a marriage? Do you think?
So I think it's too hard. I feel like they dislike each other. So, or
Mm,
they're not interested in each other so much that it's hard to turn it around. So he's
mm,
genuinely disinterested with her holidays, like, and her interests. Genuinely, can he pretend it? Can he pretend to be interested? Can he actually force it? She's genuinely disinterested with his 80s obsession. I'm not gonna
mm,
I can try and get involved sometimes, but it's not genuine. I'm not overnight gonna be like fascinated in 80s merchandise and want to live in the 80s again. So I don't know. And maybe if you've got some love for someone already, then you might be more willing to go the extra mile to find out some more. But they don't have that base. That's not even there. There's nothing spurring them on aside from the fact that they're married.
mm.
So on a level of when it comes to their chemistry, there's nothing there saying, okay, you know what? Let's give this a go. Let me see if I can be interested in what you're interested in because there's nothing there. It's empty.
Mm. No,
What
I
do you
hear
think?
that. No, I hear that. I do get that. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, it probably. I mean, I wouldn't want it to be to be my marriage. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. So I wouldn't want that kind of what they've got. So I definitely agree that. I guess it is hard if you're not interested in some of the things that he's interested in, and vice versa. I think he finds her attractive, and I think that's what's keeping. Yeah, I think he finds her attractive, and I think that's the last straw that's keeping him from just terminating it now and just going absolute AWOL. Honestly, I think that is the case, that he finds her attractive, and that's the only reason why. You know, us men, you know, we can make an exception in it. Like, we'll try and make it last a bit longer just because we find a girl attractive. Why are you making that face for, girl?
Well, that's mad shallow, and that would offend me. That if I was her, that would offend me because it's shallow. It's shallow, but if that's what men go off, that's what men go off.
No, wait, why is it shallow? If you're already pretty girl, I'm gonna add a few more minutes. Huh?
That's it. You just like how I look, so you just want to get in my pants. That's it. No. So when I'm coming to talk about my holiday, you're not engaging, but you want to hug me and kiss me. Like what?
Yeah.
You're not interested in all of me. You're just interested in getting a piece.
I mean, I don't know if that's every guy, but I'm saying obviously what's making him hold on a little bit more longer is the fact that he finds you attractive. So there's an extra emphasis to keep trying a little bit more just because they find you attractive.
I think he likes her only because she looks good. I don't know what else he likes about her besides the fact that she's a young, attractive lady. And if it was me, I'd be offended because when I'm coming to you about my holiday, you don't want to know. But then you talk to me about you kiss strangers, you hug strangers. Like,
yeah, he wants to feel affection and love from a girl that he finds attractive.
Just because I'm attractive, is that it? Like, it's just not very. It's not special enough. It's not special. Anyone can say, "Oh, you're attractive," but what else? What else you got to give? Like, your attraction, is that it?
Well, maybe he likes some other things about her. Maybe he likes some other things that she, you know, does that he likes, but she doesn't do the same for him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could think someone's really attractive, and I could like the things that they're about, but they may not like the same things about me. So that I may be struggling or holding on because some of the things I like about you, and I think you're attractive. Someone's absolutely there. But I may hang on a little bit longer. Do you know what I'm saying? But you may not see me that way.
And that's fine for him, but for her, if I was on the receiving end, I wouldn't be flattered by it at all.
You wouldn't be flattered by it? It's because you get the beauty thing all day, innit? Every guy you meet goes, oh, Rax is buff. That's why you're taking it like that, innit?
For her, it could just be the minimum. It's like, okay, what else you got, babe? What else you got? I honestly think he probably thinks one or two things about her are great, and there's a little bit that she's not. That he just wants acceptance from her. Like, if you find someone attractive, you just want acceptance from that person. Do you know what I mean? There is a sense of validation from it in some regard, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine now, like, you know, Anthony Joshua and that, you know, says Rax, you know, just it can validate you a little bit. You know what I mean? I know, but I just think he wants her on like the physical front, and the fact
I think so as well.
A beautiful woman. That's what he likes about her. I'm not sure there's more to it, because
and dogs.
He doesn't seem genuinely interested in her or in her interest. Rather, he just likes the fact that she's hot, and he just wants her to be his wife.
So isn't that what trophy wife oftentimes is?
Yeah, maybe he wants a trophy wife. Maybe he does, because he's quite into his image as well, and he eats like a dozen eggs a day. So maybe he just wants a pretty woman to complete his whole aesthetic. So yeah, he could want that.
Like this Life of Bod says, buff things get second and third chances. Absolutely right. Buff people do. Rax, have you never given a good-looking guy a second and third chance just because he's buff? Let's be honest.
I agree with that. I wouldn't say just because they're buff, but if you've got something, so whether it's like some kind of connection or attraction, that person will get more chance than the person who you haven't got that with at all. So on his side, he's got the attraction for her. He'll keep on trying. For her, there's no attraction, so why is she trying? Maybe if he was like drop down gorgeous, her type, she would be in it more, but she's just not attractive to him.
I hear that. So, but you yourself, if the person's buff, would you give them a second, third try?
They might get more airtime than someone who isn't, but you both get found out eventually. Do you know what I mean? You might get 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but you get to the bottom of it either way, don't you?
Oh, I hear you. All right, cool. All right, so that was Haley and Jacob.
That was funny. I was digging in deep there.
Don't worry, man. We've got time to go deeper. So we've always got Ryan. We got Ryan and Ryan and Clara as well. Ryan and Clara. She came out the blocks at the end of the show. They really wanted us to leave the show with a boom, with a bang. She exposed that obviously, they've been doing everything but, having full on intercourse. That's all right. You've been doing everything but having full on intercourse. What did you think about,
Look, I feel like you should go off first because you have a lot of opinions when it comes to Ryan deciding not to go all the way with Clara. So there's no point. There's no point in coming to me first because I know you want to drag Ryan. I know. I just know it. I know it.
I don't want to drag him. I don't want to drag him, but I am gonna say, obviously, that I thought to myself, it is a bit mad that you are, going through all the different positions of sexual stuff without going into intercourse. And obviously old girl is complaining. I also do think that she's pushing a bit too much as well. Like if it was a man, this would be a little bit over the top.
So at what point has it now become too much for you? Because I was saying this before, you're like, he just needs to lay the pipe. It's his wife.
He still needs to lay the pipe.
So what's changed? Why have you? What has Clara done now that's made it too much? She's pressing it too much.
No. Listen, she's been doing too much for a few weeks now, right? I'm not saying it's not new. It's for a few weeks, right? But my thing was, if he's going to continue, like it was twofold. If he's going to continue to indulge, in dipping the strawberries in chocolate, yeah, but then not taking no bites, bro. Why are you teasing people out here, fam? You know what I'm saying? Like, lay the pipe and get it over with, or stop doing the other stuff which is getting her hot. It don't make sense, Rax, for me to do that to someone I'm a partner with who's like, I really want sex with you, and then I'm like, yeah, but I can't give you the full on intercourse, so I'm gonna just do everything else with you. Do you understand? Like, it's like, then just don't do any of it so that you can build your emotional connection. That's what I meant by laying the pipe. And then I was saying, obviously, from her perspective, she has been over the top. And this has been from weeks behind when she was talking about him drinking, and she was pressuring him to drink. And I was like, that was coercive, like to do that, to keep on pushing him to want to have a drink and stuff, right? And we spoke about this. I think we spoke about it. Maybe it was on this one. Maybe it was on the live that we did. And I spoke about that from when it happened. I said, like, if that's what she's doing in the bedroom, that's rape too. So, like, if you know what I'm saying, like, we would have to put that down as rape. So, I don't know. But what do you mean? What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts then?
I think you made some assumptions there. You have assumed that every night it's Ryan wanting to get his cheap thrills off Clara. Whereas me, from where I'm sitting, I wouldn't be surprised if it's her putting on him every night because she wants to get lucky. She's like, if you go to the casino, the more you play, the more you have a chance of winning. I feel like every night she's trying to put it on him, hoping, maybe this is the night. So I don't, unless he is really initiating it every night, I don't want to hear her crying about it. I really don't, because she could be the one instigating each time, hoping she's going to get lucky. He's been clear. He's been clear as day. He has not wavered. He wants to reach a certain level with her before he goes all the way. But for whatever reason he has, he might be happy doing like the in-betweeny stuff, whatever it is, or it isn't. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when it comes to it going down every night, that could just be Clara hoping she gets lucky.
Okay, no, I hear that. I mean, okay, so have you ever experienced a man withholding from you like this?
No.
Okay, would you feel it was a bit odd if you were doing everything else and not going into sex?
Yeah, I would take it personally. I feel like I was unattractive. However, in this circumstance, I feel Ryan's a special case. He's married her, and I think he just wants to be sure that she's the one before he does that.
He must be sure.
Is he not allowed? If it was, as you said, if it was another way around and it was a woman, would you have any problem with her doing that?
I would, because I did it with Karen and Miles. I said the exact same thing. I said,
why?
I said about the way that she was dodging the whole sex conversation, but then penalizing him for trying to ask questions about, so how would it make, when would you be more comfortable? I said that is problematic. If you are penalizing him on both ends, so when he asks question about sex, you penalize him. When you talk about sex, you'll penalize him. Do you know what I mean? I said that was bad. So on both ends, I think it's bad. I honestly, so my issue is obviously, yes, the way she's pressuring, that is bad. It's coercive. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's coercive. It's like, and to keep on asking that can be coercive. But the problem is they're having other things in between that. Now, obviously, maybe she's pressurizing them into those particular acts. Maybe she is. We don't know, right? But he's got a big problem. He can't discuss sex at all. Like, it's become one of those like taboo words.
You think he won't speak about it? I feel like he has
on the show. He's dodging every single time. Every single time. Even when you're doing tantric yoga, you want to push your girl off, bruv. No, Rax, imagine you're doing tantric yoga with a man that you like. You fancy the pants off him. He's attractive to you. You now got your legs wrapped around this man here, and then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, okay, can't take it anymore. I've got to get you off. Like, you're gonna feel some way, bruv. Would you not feel some way?
All right.
Okay, how would you deal with this situation?
I'd want to find out, like, what's the reason? What is the reason? He said he's waiting for the connection and for love. So how many times can you ask him the same question? I can only go off by what you've told me. Like, I can assume, but if I've asked you and that's what you've told me,
no, would you buy it? That's what I'm asking.
Would I believe him?
Why is he still doing things?
I would think it's very. I wouldn't be doing the things in between, but maybe she's just taking what she can get.
Why wouldn't you do the things in between?
Because that's just frustration, and I have no time for the foolishness.
Exactly.
So why is she doing it to herself? Ryan
I don't know. That's where she has to take accountability too.
Exactly. I think she's just happy to get something. That's how she seems. And they've got a very different attitude to sex completely. So he'll be like, he'll wait for love. And for her, it's just a thing. Why is he waiting for love? But that ain't it. So their attitudes to it are just completely different. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he wants his time with her to be special and not just like everyone else she's been with. That could be something he's thinking about as well as his own personal reasons.
I was doing that when I was a virgin, but yeah.
So maybe he is. He could be a virgin. He could be bisexual. He could be homosexual. He could be in the closet. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and he could be. That's what I'm saying. Then you got to let Clara know, because she also needs to know so that she knows what she's doing. The girl's out here in the wilderness.
Yeah, okay? She looks like she's going through it. She looks like, oh my,
she's an addict.
I feel sorry for her. I don't condone what she's doing, but she looks like she's going through it. Like, she's just vexed. Every time her face is like.
Well, when you get vexed, if every time you're getting sex and then you're not getting no pleasure from this thing, you get stressed.
Yeah,
you get stressed.
Frustrated. But she literally, she'll be shaking soon. Like, she didn't even want to bust a joke with him no more. So yeah, something's got to give, because I don't know how many more weeks or days Clara can take without getting some of Ryan. I don't know how long she'll last, because she might end up resenting him completely. I'm surprised she doesn't resent him already, but she could get to a point of being like completely over him, resenting him, seeking it elsewhere.
The poor girl is under duress, bruv. You know what I mean? Every night they end up doing stuff and she's not getting nothing back, bruv. Nothing back. You know? Not even getting a little kitty action. Nothing's coming back her way, bruv. You understand? That's frustrating, but he's getting it every night.
We don't know what he's doing for her.
Well, she said she's not getting anything back. She said nothing. She says she's not getting nothing. She said it herself. She's not getting nothing.
And then maybe she should put her hands in her mouth to herself. That's what she needs to do, and see if something changes. Because why did she continue to do it? I think she's just doing it because she's hoping she's going to get lucky, but she needs to keep her hands in her mouth to herself.
I mean, I personally, maybe there's also a thought that he doesn't find her that attractive. Then again, Mandem would sleep with Gallo, but then again, maybe because he's thinking to himself, there's not a clean exit. No, there's no clean exit.
He's married to her. There's no clean exit. I just feel like cut Ryan some slack. I'm continuing to cut him some slack, even though you are continuing to cut him some slack, because he wants to get to know his wife before he does it. Because I think even though it's a marriage, he knows they're married, but he also sees it as them dating. He said something, and it made me think of him seeing it as them just getting to know each other. So if we were outside this marriage thing and I was dating you, I wouldn't have slept with you yet. That's the impression that I get. So he's adopting a similar thing. Like, I want to get to know you. I want our connection to be deep without the sex. So let's work on that before we bring sex into it. It's like if you were caught in, fair enough, they've done the first day, but if you were caught in, he wants to lay down the foundation before he brings sex into it. I don't fault him for it.
I said the same thing as well.
He's a high sex drive, a girl with a high sex drive.
I totally understand. Do you know what I mean? I would be on his side if nothing was going on, but there's something going on, so that's why I can't be on his side. I've said the same things as well. You know, I want to focus on the emotional connection, but the moment I start slipping it in, there's no way I can be talking about emotional connection and not be giving you no sex, and then playing around with other little things in between that time. That's controlling. You know exactly what you're doing then. It's like you want to be able to say, this is the level I want to go to, right? But anything sexual on that note then it has to be agreed upon by both consenting parties. So if you do want to have just the things in between, you've got to make sure that Clara's on board and consenting with it.
Do you feel like she's consenting? Do you
oh no,
like
I know she's consenting, but she's consenting to wanting more. So that you know what I'm saying,
that's a personal problem. That's a Clara issue.
Yeah, but I'm sure she's
projecting. He's happy to go up to here.
Yeah.
She wants to go over. She's still participating. She wants to get here. He's not on it. That's a Clara issue here and out because he's made clear where it's gonna go. Each night, if she's setting herself up, I'm sorry, why I'm not.
If that is the case, well, if he's let her know that this is as far as I'm going, then yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yes, we all know. We all know he's not ready to go any deeper yet. But she keeps on giving it up or doing whatever she's doing and then crying about it. Like, I get her frustration, but as you said, they shouldn't be doing anything. But as much as you put that on Ryan, it can be put to Clara as well. Stop messing around until you're getting what you want. Then.
I hear that. Makes sense. What about also we had Erik and Virginia as well. What was your thoughts on Erik and Virginia?
It was really unpleasant to watch. I felt like it was really unpleasant because I feel like you can see their previous relationships or their previous, say they're carrying like previous relationship demons coming forward and meeting, and it's not pretty. It's very dark. So he's very controlling. He's very much like it's my way or the highway. He's very condescending, very manipulative. And I don't know, for some reason, I feel like he's done it before. It seems like it's a learned behavior. It's a behavior that he has that is deeply ingrained. So as soon as they get into conflict, it's like, well, this is what it is or it isn't. Straight. That's always his default position. We've seen it now for like 3-4 episodes. And I feel like she might have encountered it before as well because she breaks down, she's crying, she's like, please stop. Like maybe it's triggering. I don't know. But it's been a bit uncomfortable to watch, to be honest. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. It was a little bit uncomfortable to watch. I think watching him kind of not being self-aware in those moments where he can see that she's, you know, clearly distressed at some of the behaviors he was doing, and some of the behaviors were atrocious, you know, like, but I guess obviously this is like the pinnacle of those behaviors because it's like one too many today, which is like, you know, if you don't like it, you can leave. And it was like one too many. She was like, if you say it one more time, I'll punch you in your face. And I said, well, you know, I mean, I don't blame old girl because, bro, you've been saying it for the past 33 days and we are all tired. We were tired in the first few days.
Tired, yeah.
You know, and you're now continually doing it. And I think there's that aspect. I think his condescending behavior a little bit as well is there. You know, I've been married before and, you know, I know what I'm talking about, kind of behaviors on every single thing. It's not like it's on one or two things. It was on everything to do with the marriage. And it's like, I've done this before. I've moved in with someone before. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I've done this whole thing before. Like, you know, like, and it's like, bro, it can't be everything that you want to put your mouth to, bro, and say I've done this before. Like that just has a level of arrogance and it's not appealing at all, if I'm honest with you. I think also as well, I think if I'm honest as well, I think obviously as well, I think as well, as much as everybody talks about his controlling nature, which I agree with, he's very controlling. There is an aspect which is being triggered by Virginia's behavior.
Yeah.
And this is the perfect storm and I said this before this even happened. The very first episode, I said this is going to be the perfect storm, because she has abandonment issues. He's controlling in the sense that he presses buttons that cause more abandonment issues or more feelings of abandonment from him. But she also too has these behaviors like disappearing for half an hour. Sis, what are you doing? Like, why are you at the bar and disappearing, girl? What's going on? What's that about? You know what I'm saying? Like, want to sleep on your boys' couches and stuff like that.
So
The excessive drinking.
Thing. Hold one moment.
Yeah.
How bad really is it to do that? So they've had a fight or an argument, and she's gone for half an hour. How, I don't know. How, yeah.
Oh,
how
no,
bad
that was,
really?
no, they were arguing at, so that bar thing was actually before the actual fight. So they were this was when they were at the bar and she disappeared for half an hour. So it was a separate moment, and then they argued about it. But it was a separate moment where I think they went to a bar and she disappeared for half an hour without no communications. Now, I don't know about you. I've dated people before. I've never left them for half an hour, like, without saying nothing.
Time.
It's a very long time to do that. Anything can happen during that space of time. If we're in each other's presence and I've not communicated that I'm leaving you. So in that sense, I could see those type of behaviors that potentially could be leading towards, I said, triggering his, I would say, also feelings of abandonment. He's also got the same thing. He's got feelings of abandonment. Ex-girlfriends cheated on him. Do you know what I mean? Feelings of rejection are there as well. So I know that he's getting triggered by those behaviors as well. That's not to say that it's acceptable what he's doing, but I want people to see that you don't focus on one and only focus on one, because no one, in this particular instance, both parties are moving very mad. And if you don't speak to both parties, you actually do injustice to both parties. It's like, oh, we're focusing on Erik. It's like, yeah, Eric's the bad guy. No, but yes, he is. And so Virginia's got her own things that she does, which need to be addressed as well. So, but definitely, I think it's a match made in. It's almost like a match made in hell. No counselors, no therapy. This is a match made in hell. This will end crash and burn. What do you think?
I agree that she is not perfect. She has a problem when it comes to alcohol. She's more of a free spirit and more liberal to him, which doesn't like go well with what he stands for. But in that episode, what did she do wrong? Well, I don't know what's triggered him to be so.
Yeah, in this episode, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. And why is he jealous of her dog? Why is he's actually jealous of her dog? I'm sure he's like, the dog comes between us, and it's just it's a bit much.
I think the dog is a representation of what he doesn't like in Virginia. He's never liked these stuff in Virginia. This is the thing. This is why I said it was a match made in hell. He also is not very honest about how he feels about Virginia. The consistent need to cover, the cracks is something that Virginia doesn't do, which I really appreciate about Virginia. She will tell you straight, this is not it. Whether she's wrong or right, she'll tell you this is not it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I admire that quality because she's able to tell you in that moment, this is not it. He is unable to do that. Like, if you watch him, he waits to moments where it's about to blow up and then he finishes you. So he waits for very high pressured moments, whether it's Dr. Cal or Dr. Vil come in, Dr. Val, come in, Dr. Pepper, or they have an argument. That's when you hear Erik come in with the whole madness, right? And you hear him then spouting off and saying some crazy stuff. So actually, he's not honest with himself about how he actually feels. He's always felt this way. And this was going to happen because you are trying to save her. That's what he's doing. He's trying to save her. And the problem with trying to save people is, trying to save people, they don't want to be saved.
No, she doesn't. She's happy. Yes, she is.
Exactly. And that's frustrating for him because he thought he could save her. And so now the true essence of when you're trying to save somebody comes out. It's about you. It's not about Virginia. It's about you. So the dog is the dog's behavior, which is, I'm not gonna lie to you, dog's chewing stuff, and I know the dog's a bit out of sorts, man. I can tell because if it's with Virginia, it's out of sorts.
Exactly. It's just like his mama.
It's just like his mama. Do you know what I mean? Like, so when he's talking about the dog, what he really is saying is, I see the dog's behavior as a representation of how you also don't behave. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not in alignment, the dog's not in alignment. The dog bites stuff, you yourself, you move mad. Like, that's what he's in a sense saying.
He's gonna take it personally. Like, my dog's just a free dog having fun, and here you are wanting to say you want to train him and iron him out. So it's not nice. It's like, yeah, a reflection of what he's also doing to her, wanting to iron her out. But aside from him just wanting to train the dog, I think he's actually jealous of the dog. So he's jealous of their relationship. Yeah. Yeah. So like she'll get up and say, "Oh, dog, come with me," whatever the dog's name is, and he's like, oh, "The dog is coming between us." I think he's jealous of how close she is with the dog. I absolutely do think that.
Maybe. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I never saw it like that, but well, fair enough. Good point. I know that part was when they were on the couch, weren't they? And you were saying, "Are you listening to me? Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you talking?
Yeah,
Are
he's
you
jealous
been
of
around
the
the dog?"
dog. He's jealous of her dog. And she was like, "It's my comfort. This is why we're so close." He's jealous of how close she is with her dog, and he wants to be in or feel more involved. And then I think he does want the dog to be trained, but he's also using the train as an avenue to separate the dependent, like the codependency as well, to break that bond that they have.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I guess that dog is obviously those dogs. I mean, she has like two dogs, three cats, or whatever. It's a lot of pets to be dealing with. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, no one should be coming to me and thinking we're gonna get married with your 5 pets, because it's not gonna be the one. Do you know what I'm saying? You must have 5 children, yeah. So it's not gonna be me. But yeah, I feel you. I think it's. I think. I do maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe the dog again being in the way is stopping also as well. This the ability for him to be able to transform, Virginia into the model wife that he requires.
But should
You
he be
know,
doing that? Does she want that?
no, he shouldn't be
No.
doing that. But
No.
that's that savior complex coming through. When you have a savior complex, when you think you're good enough and the person's not good enough to be able to save themselves, so you're seeing the vulnerability and you think that they don't have the capacity to be able to save themselves. So you then jump in there to try and do that. So that's why the frustration's kicking up, I think, and showing itself. And that's why I said he was never comfortable with her drinking that much. Like, she might have thought that he was accepting me as he is. He's never been accepting of those things.
So why did he do it too? Why did he get on board? Why was he knocking it back with her? And now when he gets drunk, he gets mad.
It's almost like, okay, so it's almost like, let's say me and you are dating, right? Let's say both of us go to gym a lot. We work out, right? We work out and we eat a lot, right?
Right.
But let's say you get big and then you're eating a lot. I'm like, what the hell? And when you start looking at someone like, wait, hold on a minute, you're eating a lot and you're getting big, like you're like you know. So then you start to, and it's almost the same way. Like he for himself, he's looking at it as, I drink, but I handle my drink. I don't lose myself. I don't go off on a binge. Do you know what I mean? So I can drink with you the one night or 2 nights, and I'm not. I still go to work, and I'm cool. You drink, and I look at you, and I look at you. You go on binges, you go on benders. It's madness. So I think it comes from a place again of, I think I'm better than you. Almost in a sense, I think I'm better than you. I think.
So what do you think about his conflict resolution? Because we've seen it so many times where they disagree about something and he's just like, well, you do it or you don't. You're with me or you leave. Just go then. Like, what's the Kojo word on that?
No, that comes from a place of, I know a lot of people talk about control. It's actually more than that. It's actually from a place of fear. So it's you do that to protect yourself, like, because what he's actually saying is, I'm actually not going to give you all of me, like all of my heart to you, because in order to do that, I don't need you. It comes from a place of, I'm protecting me. So and the reason why you do that is because you can see something's not quite right. You do that when you see something's not quite right. And that's the honest truth. And this is why I said that he's not honest about himself. He's not telling the truth about how he actually feels. If he did, he wouldn't be having the spurts that he does, because to the outside world, he presents, we're perfect, we're great, we're amazing, like we work things out, you know what I'm saying? Oh, the only little problem we've got right now is with the dog. I'm trying to train the dog, but there's a bag of problems that are behind the scenes. And when he sees the bag of problems, actually, when he looks at it, he doesn't want to have to deal with these bag of problems. He actually, do you know what I'm saying? So what he's trying to do, and this is where the control comes in, because out of fear comes the control. So instead of saying, actually, I don't want to do this, or do you know what, this is too much for me, he's gone into a response of, okay, I am going to change what I'm seeing in front of me. So out of the fear, I'm going to tell you, listen, you're either gonna change, or I can just leave. But actually, it's not a real option. He doesn't really want to leave. He just wants you to know that I don't really care, do what you want. But what he wants from her is to think, okay, he doesn't care, I got to change. That's the controlling part. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's the psyche behind why he's doing what he's doing. So when he says, obviously, you know, you can have a deal with it or leave, what he's actually saying is, you're going to deal with it. You know, you're going to deal with it. Do you see what I'm saying?
He could leave, but it just seems to me like he just wants. Well, I don't know if that's in all his relationships, but if this is the thing that is his default way of handling things, he just wants a yes, someone who will just say yes to everything he says, because he's not interested in finding a compromise or any middle ground, any type of reconciliation. It's literally, it's my way or the highway. So unless she wants to be with someone who doesn't like value her opinion or whatever, then she needs to go, because he just literally wants a yes woman. That's what I think anyway. Do you get that?
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. I think there's an over. So there's a fine line that I think he goes over, right? The extra parts where he goes over, because, for instance, like the whole text me every hour. It's like, bruv, that's, yeah, go on.
There was an episode where he went away for work. So even though he says to her, text him every hour if he's out, he went away and he didn't really communicate with her that much. And she was upset. Like, so what's going on?
Yeah, again, because they both have abandonment issues. Like he produced a safety field of saying every hour, and then didn't do it himself.
Yeah,
that's gonna cause her abandonment issues to spiral. It's like, even though she didn't agree with that at first, you still instituted a boundary line, and you didn't complete the boundary line. Do you know what I mean? That's gonna make her feel even more insecure about her position. Do you see what I'm saying? So, so yeah, I mean, I think he crosses certain boundaries when it comes to those kind of things in that regard, and I think it's very difficult because obviously, you know, some people generally are insecure and it causes them to become controlling, and there are generally people who are, let's say, full-on abusers who do this every relationship, and I think it's very hard to be able to tell who is the abuser and who is someone who's suffering with insecurity at a broken point in time in their life. It's very hard to distinguish between the line. It's a very fine line, and I think where you see that somebody is going on to the abusive level is where, like I said, it seems like every single thing becomes a problem, everything. And I think that in itself with Erik is problematic, and the way he becomes vicious at a certain point,
and cold,
and cold. Yeah. When he drinks, the truth comes out of how he feels, which is vicious. Which is like he expects certain things from her. So yeah, I think without no therapy, without no counseling, it's gonna be very, very tough for them to uphill struggle. She might end up hitting him with an iron on the back of his head one day.
Exactly. She said she was to punch him, so that could happen. She could crack, because she literally seemed like she was like crying. She was really like out of herself. She felt like she was failing. She's like, I'm not keeping up with my friends. I don't recognize myself. Who am I? So she could end up snapping or breaking. So I don't know if, you say, therapy, they're married, it could work, but I just think they're incompatible. They're only like compatible in their mess.
Yeah, I mean, I think both parties, as much as Erik is controlling, I think both parties have that ability to become very toxic physically. Like we're actually grazing over the fact that she said she would punch him in the face.
Yeah, she said
like
that.
If that was a man saying that, regardless of what he was suffering, would have been like, oh my god, he's a man saying he would punch a woman in the face. Like, what the hell? It's the same thing. Like it's scary to think that someone would say that kind of thing, right? As much as I agreed with the fact that he kept on saying it was really annoying, the mere fact that she went straight to "I would punch you in your face" tells me that you are ready. You could go into that space, and this could become a very physically toxic relationship very, very quickly. And this is why I'm saying that counseling and therapy needs to hurry up and get in there, because these are the early warning signs of both parties being able to accept a very toxic type of
toxic.
relationship. Yeah.
It is toxic. But then they do well at masking it over. So they have these bad arguments, which to us look like absolute train wrecks, guys. Flee, this is bad. To next minute, oh, we're so in love. Oh, we're so perfect, you know? They just like flip flop from each extreme and go back to feeling comfortable and safe in each other. Like I think by the end they'd made up and I was like, huh? What?
Because both of them are broken.
What's actually going on under the surface here?
Yeah. Because both of them are broken. See, she's able to give him a level of grace because she knows she's the exact same way. That's what people don't realize. So as much as he's controlling, I said this from when the very first video she ever did. I said she's exactly the same. She's the exact same controlling person. The same way that she maneuvered in her single life, the way she was dating with guys, everything like that. It's a different level of control. It's not so overt. You don't see the tentacles, right? With Erik, you see all the tentacles coming out. With her, it's underneath the surface. Now she's met somebody else who's just as controlling. It's like, I see you, and you see me.
So what do you think she tries to control then? Because I don't feel like I've seen her trying to control him or
not
show
in this instance. Not in this instance. She's not trying to. In this instance, she's not trying to control him. I will be honest with you. In this instance, she's not trying to control him. Like when you meet your match, there's nothing you can do. What do you do in this instance? He's a more domineering, controlling person. So it's like she's not trying to control him now. Now I'm trying to make sure I keep my independence. I am not going to merge with you. That's my level of control. That's my boundary now. So that's why everything is that's why I have to agree with some of the parts of it. Whenever she's obviously saying it's never yours, it's never ours, it's mine. And it's like, yeah, the reason why she's doing that is because she's also trying to maintain a level of independence. She's not going to merge. You see, so when someone's and I know some people were like, nah, she's not controlling. I'm like, listen, if you don't understand, if you watched her VT when you saw it first, when you watched it, how she was talking about relationships, you will understand why. And I broke it down. I put it in the video. I said, this is where if she met somebody who was weaker than her, you would have seen the control come out immediately.
What would it look like? What do you think it would look like?
It would look like this, which is that I separate myself from you. Passive aggressive ability where I can disappear from you for a few hours and not talk to you. We've seen it already with Erik. And it will look more colder because the guy would be softer. It's because Erik is so domineering. She would be disappearing at first for a few hours, maybe a few minutes. No texting, no call-ins. It was discipline, passive behavior. I need time for myself to recuperate. I don't like too much of this. I don't like too much of that. All you would have seen was separation, and it would have just been passive aggressive. It's actually an element of control too. It's just not overt. You see what I'm saying? So when that person wants to always keep that independence and they never want to merge, it's a level of control. So it's like they're just not controlling you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're like controlling their space or they're isolating themselves to preserve themselves.
Yes. Yeah. Someone said don't pull a muscle reaching.
I'm about controlling that sense because if someone does that, I'll just think, oh, they're it's like a self-preservation tactic. Like they're trying to assert themselves and who they are and what they have, because you make it like he makes the point of, okay, we're married now, everything is ours, but not everyone sees marriage like that. So even though there's a new unit of us, I'm still me. So she could be of the school of thought. So even though, yes, we're married, yes, we're together, I'm still Virginia. Rather than Virginia and Erik combined.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a fear for her of obviously, getting too close to somebody and, them hurting her. But that's how we started with Erik. That's what I'm trying to say. So, it's oftentimes people don't understand unless you've seen different formats of it. So it's really easy to get at Erik because everyone's seen that type of control before. We see it on TV, we see it on movies, we've seen it in real life. Women have experienced it. Until you speak to other men who've experienced controlling women, you will not understand how control works. You'll only see it as that type of control. But like I said, there was other types of control and they come from a place of fear. And so and that's what I'm saying to you. If she had met someone who was less domineering, less controlling, you'd have seen the same thing. That whole of I'm being passive and actually, do you know what? I need time for myself. You'd have seen her disappear for 2-3 days. We saw it with Karen and Miles. When Karen decided to go away and not text him, everyone was like, whoa. Why do we say that? Because he wasn't domineering. If he was domineering, we're like, yeah, well, what do you expect? Like, but it's because he was soft. So it's always the comparison and how it looks when we look at two people. We look at how, okay, is that person solid? Are they strong? Because then we'll change the way we look at how the other person reacted. That's why when we're saying that I'll punch you in the face, everyone's like, well, yeah, of course you'll punch you in the face because you've been controlling. But everyone glossed over the fact that she said she'll punch him in the face.
I was shocked I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, in a sense of like how people, no one said it was abusive to say that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We all said, no, that's because he's the way he is. Do you know what I mean? So if Erik showed that weakness in front of her, that he wasn't like that, you would have seen the same thing. You would have seen the exact same thing. So that's why I said both of them need the therapy immediately, because this could end really, really badly. Do you get me?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they're just a mess, and I don't understand why they're matched together at all.
People want money.
Well, I'm not the expert. I'm not sure how they interviewed, but if I saw them on paper as they are, I wouldn't be like, yeah, this is a match made in heaven. No, they seem like total opposites. No way. He wants a good housewife, ready to have kids, at home, baking, ready for when he's come in. And she just wants to turn up every night. Like, they couldn't be more different.
I hear that. I'm with you on that. 100%. Let's see. Someone said I'm reaching. So they said, Coach, I think you're conflating withdrawing from intimate relationship and enforcing rules that others must obey that you yourself made me exempt from. Okay.
This is a different type of control, because I describe it as like self-preservation. When people isolate, it's withdrawal. But I guess you're saying it's controlling on the other person because you're depriving them from, I don't know, free communication with you.
Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. So imagine, like, let's say that, for instance, we have an argument and you dip off for 3 days. Someone might say, whoa, that wasn't aggressive, but it's passive aggressive. It's actually an element of control. I'm trying to make sure that, yes, okay, maybe I feel wounded, but I don't communicate for 3 days. That becomes a level of control.
Do you know what? I think there are two sides of the coin. There are two ways to describing it. So on one side, you can say, yep, you're controlling because you're stopping me from talking to you about it. But on the flip, the person can just say, I just wanted my time. It's actually not about you. I'm not doing it to be malicious to you, but I want to withdraw. So it's like the flip of what someone could say about it.
I hear that still. Brie and Vincent, the last couple, what are you saying?
Do you know what? From the episode itself, I didn't have that much that I was like geared up to say, but when that end clip came about whether or not she will have children, that's when I was. But I don't know if there's anything before that you want to touch on. But for me, that's what's just what happened to me. Like, what?
You can go straight there, because there's nothing really that happened in the episode for them, to be honest. Yeah.
I was just like, whoa. So they've seemed like the winning couple, the most compatible couple, the couple that's going to last, right? I guess compared to the others, even though you think Brianna's controlling ways could be an issue down the line, that Vincent's too soft, right? But that could be a huge, huge spanner in the works. And I feel for her because I understand why she's fearful of giving birth. In America and the United Kingdom, Black women are much more likely to die from pregnancy and childbirth than any other race. We're told that like all the time. So it's fearful in itself. And then you've got the stat that the medical racism could lead to your death. So I completely understand why she has that fear. And I think she's valid in having it. She's entitled to have it. But that's a big deal for her husband because he wants his tribe. He wants children. So unless he's willing to explore like surrogacy or adoption, it could be a real issue because I don't necessarily think he should, I don't know, pressure her too much to have a child either. If that's something that she doesn't want to do, I don't agree with that. What do you think?
I mean, it's a Mazzolina. I feel this is really heavy. This one, isn't it? I mean, we've had no heavy chat from them all season, and then we get this banger right at the end because this is heavy. What?
Big deal. Why weren't they talking about kids in the beginning?
Mate,
I think she's presumed she'd be on it, and then she's purposefully kept it to herself. It's a
big thing, isn't it?
Women typically talk about having children, so she's decided on purpose to keep this to herself. And he just probably presumed.
He probably presumed that she's probably cool, yeah, because obviously, like women normally are, yeah.
I'd say she's at fault for this one.
What was the exact words they actually said at the very end? It was the fact that she
She's
Is it she has
scared of
complications?
loud. No, I don't think they said. Well, I didn't pick that up. I just heard
Okay.
her say she's fearful of giving birth, so it's like she doesn't want to do it. So she has to get over her fear, does she? And he was like, he can't imagine dying without having kids or something like that. So it's a big, big deal for him.
Man, you know what? Ugh, that's a crazy thing. It almost reminds me of last year. It's not. I don't think. I don't know if it's as bad yet as last year's one, because last year um, Brett and what's her name? I can't remember her name. The girl. They didn't. There was a difference in the fact that one of them wanted kids, another person didn't necessarily want kids. They could be swayed, but they didn't want kids. Do you know what I mean? Like things like that are huge, major factors in a relationship. Do you know what I mean? I'm hoping if she says she's fearful, maybe she's saying that she would be able to move from that position. But if she really genuinely is like, that this is something that she potentially can't move from, that's a very big, big thing. Very, very big thing. To not move away from that. It's huge, yeah.
You're talking about a fear. It's not. It's. I think it's different to just a preference where someone's like, I don't want them. But if you're innately scared of it, you've got a serious psychological blockage to doing that. That can give you anxiety. It can give you stress. God knows what that could trigger. As opposed to okay, I don't think I really want kids, and someone just changing your mind. She's fearful.
Yeah. It's a lot, man. Because again, that is a major thing as a husband. What would I do if my wife came back to me and said I don't
What would
want
you do,
kids?
Claudia?
Do you know what the maddest thing is?
No,
Yeah,
that she was fearful. That she was
oh, she's
fearful.
fearful. I could still rock with it. I don't know. Maybe because I am where I am right now, I'm a little bit selfish, and you know what? F them kids.
That's
So
dangerous. It's dangerous. I hear you. That's how you feel right now. But if there's any way you think within your lifetime that's going to change, and she's told you you're fearful, she's told you she's fearful, you could be setting yourself up for mess down the line.
yeah, I mean, to be honest,
You're
obviously,
not thinking about now, but if she says
yeah, I'm not
fearful,
thinking about later on. I don't know how. Like every relationship I've been in, I've never been ready to have a kid. As much as I like looking at these little babies on the screen, I keep thinking to myself, they're gonna mess up my life. So throughout all my relationships, and most of my relationships I've had, they're 2 years or whatever, a year long or whatever. So they're not usually short term in that sense. But it's like, I can't imagine I can't. I don't know. If I would necessarily leave for not having kids. Do you know what I'm saying? Or it would be a game breaker for me just because of the way I think in it. But it would have to be the fact that then our relationship is absolutely freaking amazing. So we do everything together. If not, then I'm I'm not saying kids have to be the makeup, but I'm just saying like if you must have some amazing chemistry that you don't feel the missing of having kids. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you lot do everything together and you get on, and do you know what I mean? Like maybe you two are the uncle and the aunt that have everybody else's kids over. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you feel what I'm saying? So in that regard, maybe I can see it like that from that perspective. But if we're not doing like that, then I'm like, okay, yeah, we should be looking at kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. I've seen what it can do when both parties do want kids and they're not able to have kids, what that does, and that didn't end well, what I saw. So yeah, that is a madness.
it
I
is.
wouldn't want to be in a position.
And I don't feel like he'll budge on it. So even if she doesn't want to have them herself, I think the fact that her wanting to be a mum is going to be a deal breaker for him. I don't know whether he'll be like open to her going through surrogacy or them adopting. But I think if she flat out doesn't want to have them, then it would be an even bigger issue.
I would love to know what's behind that, because I have a friend who, she was like, I don't want to have kids either. But I think obviously it depends on what is behind that, though, isn't it? Because obviously, like, she may have a fear of dying, she may have a fear of something else, like things like that, which may require conversation. I don't know. What are you thinking, Brie?
Yeah, she said she's got a fear, so I think that's fair enough. But when it comes to some women not wanting to have kids, it's like what you said. It's a change in lifestyle. It's like, I like my life how it is now. I'm not trying to divide my money. I don't want to like take time out of my career. She's like a career woman as well. So if she doesn't want to, full stop, those could be one of her reasons. That there are some women who have just decided flat out, these kids are just not worth the stress. So if she is one of those women, I do not think Vincent will like it because he seems very much family
Family
oriented,
oriented.
like wants to have his own tribe.
Yeah, that could be dangerous. And like, I know people might say, well, you can adopt. That ain't the same. So I'll tell you that now, it ain't the same. Like, you as a man specifically, even if I haven't thought about having necessarily kids, the mere thought of the fact that this child will be mine is a huge factor. So adoption for a lot of men might not solve the issue in this particular case if they were stuck with this. You know what I mean? Like, it might not solve the issue.
Yeah,
I know someone else said surrogacy or something. Someone else said surrogacy or something like that, but I don't know if that would be also another thing that's I don't even know how that even works, bro. Properly, surrogacy in a sense.
it could be her. It could be so. It could be both of their DNA, but it's just carried by somebody else.
Oh,
So
okay, they can do that.
Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade's had it. So
Oh, is
their
it?
baby, Kavia, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. She's Gabrielle's egg, Dwayne Wade's sperm, but another woman has carried the fetus to term and given birth. Candy Barris has done it as well, the singer. Kim Kardashian's done it a few times. Quite a few rich women are choosing to do it these days.
Okay, I need to do some research on this. What is there any complications that come on with this as well? Because I know obviously maybe it's your DNA, but it's attached to another woman. Like, is
Exactly.
there some? How's the
So
surrogacy?
they're growing the baby. It's their blood pumping into the baby, etc. And they give birth. I suppose they do sign contracts, but I don't know insofar whether a surrogate mother can then say, "Hold on, this is my baby. You're not having it." I don't know if they have those powers or not. I'm actually not sure, but that could happen. So a woman could agree, like I could agree to be someone's surrogate, give birth, and then change my mind. Like, what happens next? I don't know.
That's mad.
It's a common thing. Kanye's last two or three babies were
Surrogate people.
surrogate. Yeah,
That's
you're,
mad.
you're completely confused. You're like, what? Yeah, that's what happens now.
Because I've just
And
never
women,
really.
they could have like medical problems, or they don't want to like
Yeah.
be out of whack, or they don't want to go through the physical side effects of carrying a pregnancy. That they just pay someone else to do it, and they pick up the baby at the hospital.
Wow.
It happens. It happens, and people have done it, and they seem very happy. Some cut off the surrogate mothers, some keep them involved in the baby's life. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I'm thinking to myself. Like, as someone who's a mother, if you've given birth to that child, irrespective of it wasn't your DNA or not, you've connected with this child. Like, there's something connecting that happens in the birth. And how does the parents also feel as well? Because although it's your DNA, you've basically adopted a child that just looks like you. That's in a sense what you've done. No one's gone through the actual process of it.
Okay, so when I've seen Candy Burris do it because she does it on the Real Housewives. Like she takes the camera crew with her and the surrogate mother to the scans. So her and her husband were like really good friends with the surrogate mother. They spoke to her all the time. Anything she'd need, they'd get for her. They were quite connected with her. They were on really good terms, and they've loved their child. Their last two children from a surrogate, and it's like it's their own babies, like the rest of them. It's just that they didn't carry the baby for whatever reason.
It's mad.
You are completely confused.
I don't know. I mean, it's because I always think about, okay, this is great, but what are the like? No one's. I wonder if anyone's documented the downsides of this in terms of psychology. What happens to the children? What they like.
There's no way. I think people get paid I'm sure if you're a Kim K surrogate, you could be getting millions, but there's no way that I could personally do it. I couldn't, because labor, pregnancy is very hormonal. It's very emotional. Labor is highly hormonal as well. It's like all your happy hormones. And then generally after a woman gives birth anyway, when her hormone levels drop, women can go through something called like baby blues, where your emotions stabilize. It gives you like a mild depression. Sometimes people get more severe depression, and it can last for months. And that's just the process of pregnancy and being able to have your child near you, let alone what you've grown and carried being taken away from you completely. So yeah, it's not, I couldn't do it, but there are people who do it as a career. So you have women who are career surrogate mothers. Like each year they're being a new fetus being put inside them, and they're giving birth each year, and that's how they pay for their family, fund their bills, by being a career surrogate.
Smart.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I take it. I see some of the comments. Someone saying that some of the women have had health issues and stuff like that. That's probably why they did it as well. Again, it's not me shaking anybody for doing it. It's more of a case. I'm just wondering what are the, like, because this sounds amazing. and it sounds like the modern edge of technology in terms of doing that. I know surrogacy's probably been around for a long, long time, but in terms of the way it's done now, it's so, cutting edge, I'm sure. But it makes me think, like, has anyone researched the other side of things? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, 'cause like you said, obviously, and as well, if you're a woman that's obviously giving birth to a child, your breast milk, what happens there then? So that's now not going to be used.
Yeah.
So there's a complication behind that, I wonder.
Potentially pump it so that the baby
pump
can
it,
have it.
yeah.
So I'm not sure. Or you could pump and dump, or pump and donate to somebody else. But I'd be surprised if there are no effects and a woman is totally like happy just after. I'm sure there needs to be some sort of like care plan, or there should be a care plan.
A debrief.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be researching that later on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. We've reached the end.
Wait, sorry.
What?
There's one thing that I forgot.
Yes.
Did you hear when Ryan referred to himself as the perfect husband and said that he's the best husband out of all of the husbands?
Listen, when he said that, I was looking at him like, your gala is cussing you for not giving a don't. Are you telling me you're the perfect husband, cuz? Yeah. What was your thoughts on that? Sorry, I missed that. Yes.
And he was deadly serious. He was like, I'm the best out of all of them. I'm the perfect husband. I just thought, what? So that, to me, maybe he thinks he's doing everything right in his marriage, and maybe he doesn't understand how much Clara is feeling.
You're making a point. No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe he doesn't see that. Maybe he actually isn't seeing the fact that he can't see that he's doing anything wrong. Because he was out here telling me like, yeah, Jacob can take a few pointers from me. Oh,
listen, I thought, are we watching the same show? Like, what's going on here? That just made me think maybe he lacks self-awareness and just going on around him. Because we can see Clara's mad. When she's with him, we can see Clara's mad, but maybe he's just clueless.
Well, she did say that she hasn't been speaking up as much with Ryan, so maybe also she's not speaking up enough in these instances with Ryan. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's why. Because I was hearing like he's a perfect husband. You know, he's in the top percentile of all married at first sight thingies. Yeah. I was like, where did this arrogance come from, bro?
He said that.
It's like 12 episodes. I ain't seen this until this yet, and now you want to come out with this?
But maybe because when he compares himself to the other relationships, he probably thinks we're getting along well.
True.
Clara wants to move in, and I'm gonna give her this D when I'm ready.
True. Maybe he's thinking that, but your girl don't know that.
He's thinking I'm treating her like a lady. I'm getting to know her, and when we reach that point, she's gonna get it.
That's why he's in the top percentile.
That's what I'm hoping for.
That's why he thinks in the top percentile. When he said it, I was flabbergasted. He was saying it and he said it in a little cutscene and went back to the boys to try and tell Jacob what he should be doing. I was looking at him like confusion indeed. So I don't know. And then he's and that's another thing. The avoidance of him is annoying. So like when she was talking about, so what did you learn about the yoga thing? He was like, I really, yoga's more for me in terms of getting to know myself. I was like, sir, but this is the tantric yoga where two people are involved. Okay, that wasn't the objective of this yoga. And it's like when she was asking him, what did you learn? And he's like, yeah, it wasn't much that I learned. Again, it's just like a lot of it's avoidance. So if, you know what I mean? Like, although I think that he could be a deep talker and deep thinker, after times when he gives answers, none of it is deep. Sometimes it's a waffle. And I'm like, if you really are a deep talker, I've not heard anything of sensibility from you as of yet. Like, I've not heard anything yet that is particularly profound or deep coming from him. So if she's not deep herself, I'm looking at you. I don't think you're that much deeper. Because I haven't heard anything deep from him. I mean, can we think of anything that he said that is a little bit more profound or deep? Or...
He said, Clara, what do you want to do with your life? What steps are you making today to become who you want to be tomorrow? He said that while she was trying to enjoy her donuts. He said that. Why are you laughing? Does that not count?
It does. I'm just trying to imagine you saying it with his voice on.
He's funny.
He is pretty funny, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't feel anything deep from him. I didn't get any. So I don't know. I feel like like I said, everything he's avoiding. So I don't know. How
many episodes do you have left before this wraps up?
I think that's another three or so like that. Three or
Ooh, a
so
lot could
before.
happen. A lot could go down in those 3 episodes. There could be a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited.
A lot could happen. I mean, I think next is we saw a little bit of Paige even talking to, Doctor Pepper. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think she's gonna go back again. I think she will
But
because
how
obviously
could
we saw the clips. Remember, we saw the clips.
you? He straight up is just not. He ain't even trying. He's not even fighting. So this will be resurrection from the dead
What's the
because
resurrection?
it is. It would be because he's not giving even an inch at the moment. So where is it going to come from? Literally thin air.
Well,
It will need
I don't know where it's
resurrection.
come from. Like I said, when she said why me, I said she ain't learned her lesson because she's saying why me. People who say why me don't learn their lessons. So we saw the little clip, and they were at the end, and he was saying, "I speak for both of us. We don't know." And Doctor Viv was like, "What do you mean you don't know? I'm not accepting that." You know what I mean? And he said, "With all due respect, I don't know." I was like, "Brother, listen."
All right.
Wow.
So how it stands, who do you think is going to stay married on decision day?
I think that's real simple. I think Bree and Vincent stay together. Erik and Virginia will end up staying together.
Oh,
Haley and Jacob will break. But I'm in the middle because I'm thinking that maybe something will happen. They'll stay together, but end up breaking after the wedding, after the show. And Chris and Paige, they should break up, but they might not. So yeah, who's Ryan and Clara? They'll stay together.
so of those, who do you think should stay married?
Those who should stay married, Ryan and Clara should, with
Okay.
some therapy help. Brie and Vincent should,
Okay.
as well. And I think if Erik and Virginia get some intense counseling, intense, intense. If they get intense counseling, I think they can work it out. Because they at least one thing to each other, they have some really honest conversations. I don't know.
I cannot see it. I'm looking through the mess and I'm looking for it. Obviously they can stay together, but I just don't think it will be good. I just think they're too far apart. And she's not wanting to change and become the model wife that he wants. Yeah. I don't think it's a good. I personally, therapy, even with therapy, I think people can change. Like, how much do you expect someone to change? Do you expect people to do like full, was it 180 to become polar opposites? Or is it reasonable to expect like a 20-degree change, a 30-degree change? 180, it's a bit drastic, isn't it? It's a bit drastic. It's a bit drastic,
Bit drastic. So who do you think? So who do you think should stay together and be married?
I think Brianna and Vincent, if Brianna is actually open to having children, however they come about. And Ryan and Clara, if their sex bangs. If it doesn't, they're going to have problems because Clara needs it.
I honestly think Clara and Ryan, they need to have sexual therapy.
But you know what will be so disappointing? If after all of this time, she wait, yeah, like that's gonna be a whole. That's gonna be a whole. Did you really do that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh wow. But yeah, if it doesn't go down how it needs to go down, they're gonna have a whole new kettle of fish to fry.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
to deal with.
Yeah.
And there's no way I think Virginia and Erik stay together. They're as bad as Chris and Paige to me in terms of staying together. Yeah, it's just a no.
If they both get the counselling, it could be good,
I might even say they're worse than Chris and Paige.
Oh Lord,
because with Chris and Paige, with Chris, it's an external circumstance, and he's just not acting right. He's not right anyway, but he's got this external baby factor, which is it's outside. It's him, but it's like outside kind of thing. With
Yeah.
Virginia and Eric, it's their own mess, just with the two of them. Just them two.
And the final comment, someone said, if the sex is bad, we will hear about it because she can't keep her mouth closed.
That is untrue. I'm sure we
Well,
will.
Ryan, you better lay it down properly, all right? Because we heard that you're not doing anything at this moment. So if you get into marriage and you decide to stay married and the thing's not quaint, it's not good, it's not, then, if the game ain't quaint, sir, we're going to know about it. You understand?
To be honest, would she be justified in talking about that? If you've waited so long, and if she does, I won't even cuss her too much for talking about it because she started talking about it in the first place. But because of what she's been through in the run up, I might say she's there to let out her complaint.
She's gonna let us all know that, bruv, it didn't go well, bruv. That's something you can't come back from, That's a relationship ender. That's a relationship ender.
What, it not going well or her talking
Both.
about it?
No, jokes. I mean, yeah, her talking about it and telling us, the world, if someone asks her a question like, yeah, so, how's it going? How's the sex going? Well, it's going, but it's not really going anywhere. It's like, bruv, like, she might say something like that.
She would absolutely do that. She would do that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's gonna break the poor boy. He won't be able to trust her again.
Oh my God! Sorry, I keep on I'm getting flashbacks when she was like, "What do you find sexy?" And he was like, "Trust." And you've got the trust.
Listen,
he's being serious. He's not joking. And the thing is, he's being very clear with her. She needs to just listen to what he's saying. He needs that connection. He needs that trust to open that sexual door. Trust turns him on, so she needs to listen.
Nah,
trust turns him on. He's not joking. This is not a test.
This is such a mad thing, like, to hear someone say trust turns them on. Let's keep it honest, sir. It's not the trust. It's the fact that you are fearful. Let's just keep it 100%. So trust is what opens the door for you, big man. You understand, yeah? Trust is not a no one telling nobody on, bruv. You understand? Like, what's turning you on is the fact that you feel she'll have your back. So I agree with him on that. She might not have his back, and I wouldn't want to. I'm saying that I wouldn't. I tell a lie. I've never asked any of my girlfriends if they talk about our sex life to their girlfriends. I don't care. I honestly don't care. Like, as long as we're in a relationship, whether you're laughing at me behind my back, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I never. It's not something I would ever ask anybody. Do you know what I mean? It's not something I ask a girl that. Do you know what I mean? But I can understand why maybe he's asking her because she talks a lot in other things.
And it's on national TV. Like, I think it's a personal. I don't. Yeah,
but he never. But she's never said how good it was. All she's ever said is that they're doing something, which is what they're gonna say. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know how it is every season. They're gonna ask your wife, "So have you guys had sex?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've had sex. Yeah." Even the guys, they go, "Yeah, we've had sex." Like, yeah, it's normal. Like, you're married. Do you know what I'm saying?
All right. But because it's normal, he has to subscribe to it. He's just different. And I feel like if a woman went on this show and was like, "I need to trust you before I sleep with you."
Yeah, but he didn't say that. That's the point. He didn't say those words. What he said was, trust is sexy. He's still not being direct. Tell me that, listen, I can't have sex until I trust. You're still dodging. Be honest. I find it difficult to enter the space of sex until I trust the person. Not trust is sexy. Don't try to make it sweet. Tell the person the truth. See the way you said it? You're right. That's how a woman would say it. I need to trust you before I have sex. It's very direct. But he's not being direct. He's like, trust is sexy. Who's lying like that?
A deep connection to have sex, right?
Huh?
I'm sure he said we need to have a connection, right? They need to have a deep connection.
Yeah, and that's why she called him out. See, that's also another thing that people do, and they get Christians a bad name, because now she's out here calling his Clara out. She was calling his ass out. She was like, listen, she was like, wait, hold on a minute. And she said this at the end. She's like, hold on a minute. So you're telling me that you need a deep connection, but you're out here doing everything else? Like, you see, you cause a confusion. Deep connection, but you don't mind taking a deep throat. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make sense.
What did you just say? As I said, that
you have to catch it quick.
Her initiating, and he's just complying insofar as he feels comfortable. But we shall see. We shall see if she gets it before D-Day. We shall see.
We shall see. Indeed, we shall see.
I wouldn't be surprised she doesn't.
She ain't gonna get nothing before the D-Day. That's for sure. Trust me. She ain't getting nothing. Yes, guys. We have come to the end of our conversation. Someone said this. Answer this. Vincent keeps saying, "I want someone who has my back." The same thing what Ryan is saying. They're not even close. They're not saying the same thing. Not even close. Not
Why
even.
not? Why not?
It's not because Vincent's talking about wanting to feel emotionally safe, which doesn't have anything to do with his doing anything with his sex game. He's out here trying to lay down a pipe. Okay, so the two are completely different. You understand, right? Wanting someone to have your back does not then lead on to I need you then about the sex part. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's completely different. That's why his sex was not affected by Brianna calling him Champagne Vinny and him blowing up the gasket. The sex was still happening, right? Because it had nothing to do with the sex part. So if you want to say that you need to feel trust and a deep connection, say that. Say that. Don't beat around the bush. Would you have no? If you were in a relationship, would you have anticipated that trust is sexy is meaning that he wants me to trust him first before we have sex?
Said we need sex is important. We need to have a deep connection. I haven't loved someone before. Like, we have the whole picture. And for me, the difference with Vincent is that Vincent is clearly very attracted to Brianna. We don't know if Ryan's actually that attracted to Clara. And I think he wants to get to know her without the sex, because sometimes sex can cloud people's judgment.
And I agree with that. And I want to
giving her a pass, extending beyond decision day because he's getting his bus, like he's getting all into it. Whereas if he just keeps his head free, maybe he thinks he'll make a better decision about his future life partner.
I'm with you. You know, I want to see that too, right? I want also to connect to the
Why
person.
You got the voice on now, the pacifying voice? Now, yes, I see it. Go on.
I want it as well.
You're laying
I want that for you. I want us. You know, I want that emotional connection as well, right? But you know, there's a different side to feeling sexually safe. Like, when we talk about intimacy, we talk about sexual intimacy, physical, emotional, mental, financial, like spiritual. So there are different levels of intimacy. The trouble that he's having is on a sexual intimacy level. So him saying I want someone to trust me or I want someone to have my back, you've got to identify the area of intimacy that you're struggling in, or the area of intimacy that you're requiring a certain level of response from the other person. And that's why I'm saying that Vinny can talk about an emotional response, an emotional intimacy that he requires from Bree and still be hitting it. Because he doesn't require the sexual intimacy, it doesn't require the emotional stability to override into the sexual intimacy. That's slightly different. And like you said, very, very clearly, with him, and the reason why more than likely it's going through is because he finds Brie attractive. I don't think he finds Clara attractive, and maybe that's not just to do with her. And this is another aspect which we haven't said. Maybe the thing down there isn't fresh. It could also be the case.
Come on, this is a serious thing.
No. Why could it not be? No, brother, it stopped a lot of man in the past history.
Has it really? Does this
listen,
really happen? Like,
obviously, let me just shout out. Listen, anybody who's been with me, their thing's been fresh, so I've never suffered.
So you haven't experienced it, so it's a myth.
I've never experienced it.
But do you know people have experienced this whereby the girls
I'll be honest with you, and it's not a world. I'm not going to say it's a worldwide phenomenon that every person experiences it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying one or two guys have said, you know, sometimes the yoni is not as fresh as it needs to be, and that can make it difficult. You understand? Listen, if I'm trying to go down there, it needs to be fresh. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not, then that can make me feel like, woo, I gotta, you know, maybe not. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it depends. Okay, now I guess we're getting very much into this topic, which is mad.
This is real.
But I guess there are degrees to sense, right? But some men are attracted to the scent or a scent, right?
That's true.
So it's not supposed to be scentless. Like,
yeah, no. When I say fresh, doesn't mean scentless. Yeah,
it's not like flowers. It's not natural. Smell like
no. We're not supposed to either.
Female scents. So what we saying, like, gone off fish? Like, what are we actually saying?
Yeah. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe she doesn't keep that place as well off. And this is why I'm saying Ryan is an issue right now, because he doesn't explain exactly what's the issue. Now we've got to speculate. So now we're coming at your girl and asking maybe the thing's not correct. We have to ask that question.
You told her, I don't think it's that. You've said this now. It's like the second episode where you brought up the scent of her vagina. I just don't think it's that. I just think he's not sure she's the one, due to their lifestyle, whether he's going to raise her kids to be Christians or not. I just think he ain't certain whether it's her attraction levels or he'll speak her. That's all I think it is. I know you're saying it's a possibility, but I doubt it. Like,
man's given her nothing, bruv. Nothing. He's given her nothing, Rax. Nothing. No tongue, God. No finger, no foreplay, nothing.
Did she actually say? She just said they're not having sex. Did she say I'm doing everything and he's doing nothing? Because we don't know if
she's not getting nothing in return. I've got a video. I've got a video. Let me play it.
Oh God!
Just ask the last bit.
He's coming for the receipts, guys. Oh my God!
Let me get that last bit.
If a man is talking to a female and it's not right down there, then he should let her know. If you care about her,
that's what I'm saying. He has a responsibility to let her know. You know what I'm saying?
So
if it's not, but now we have to speculate because he won't tell the truth, and so it makes it hard for us to be able to understand. Well, go on, maybe the thing not fresh. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I'm not buying this as the reason. That's all I'm gonna say. But
I'm saying it's a possibility. I'm saying it's a possibility.
It's not impossible, but I just don't think it's likely.
You don't think it's likely? Let me get the clip. Hold on. Sure. This is when he was trying to talk to her. I know she was burning at this point. She was burning. When they were sitting on the couch, her leg was swinging. You know when your leg is swinging, you're burning, but you know he's holding the leg. She was
burning that whole episode.
Accommodating and making concessions.
Anyway, let me get to the point.
That's something you do because you enjoy it and it feels good, and we're married, so what are you waiting for? I feel like I don't feel like I want there to be more like an emotional connection. Considering he's also never said he's loved somebody, I'm like, are you waiting for those to happen at the same time? Because that ain't it.
In general, everything that goes through my head comes out of my mouth. But with Ryan, I'm just keeping more of it to myself.
Genuinely, if we're doing everything else, what is the difference? Yeah. I don't get it. I don't understand it. We're doing sexting. I'm getting you off every night. And you're getting nothing. Right. And he built it up in his head to be this fairy tale, rose petals. When to me, it's still just sex.
What do you think? Okay.
I will not conclude that she's not getting anything. Because they said we're doing other things, so I will not conclude that she's not getting anything. However, the red flag for me at the end is where she's just like, it's just sex. They're incompatible in that sense, and how
it's problematic. Yeah.
Because for her, it's just anything and anything. You know, for him, it's not that. They see it very differently, very differently. So maybe that's why he's making her wait.
Maybe, guys, maybe.
You're still saying she's getting him. She's getting it off. She confirmed that, but I think it's inconclusive as to whether she's getting any type of action whatsoever.
It's tight. Yeah, it's tight. Okay.
But thank you for playing that for us.
No worries. We're just glad you enjoyed it. All right, guys. It's been a really good conversation, Rax. You know, it's always good to have you, and we appreciate your candid responses today as well. So it's been fun. Do you know what I mean? And but let them know, where they can find you, what you do as well, and how they can ever,
yes, guys, you can find me at Raxreal on Instagram and Raxreal on YouTube. I post lifestyle content, natural hair content, fun stuff, and I also have a podcast called Mama Drama Pod. So please, check it out and show love. Thank you so much, Kojo. It's been fun. Smelly, but fun. Smelly end.
I appreciate you still.
Mad fun. Can't wait for the next episode.
Trust me. We'll see you again, guys, next week. And see you soon, man. Stay hydrated, babe.